Before you can write news, you must understand what it is. The obvious answer to this question is news is what you find printed in a newspaper or broadcast on radio and television. Perhaps a better answer is news is something readers, or listeners, or viewers find interesting. What makes it interesting is called the story's news value. Typically, a story will have a combination of one or more of 7 news values. The first element is impact. Does the story matter? How many people does the story impact, and how? The closing of a manufacturing plant, resulting in hundreds of job losses, has a higher news value than the closing of a candy store with only 3 employees. Next is immediacy. Did the story just happen? Or did it happen last week, last month, or last year? After enough time has passed, it becomes old news and no longer relevant. People typically care about what is happening in their own community more than in other cities, states, or countries. This is called proximity. When a national or international story has a big enough impact to report on, it should be tied to local impact as much as possible. For instance, after an international terrorist attack, a journalist could talk to some local residents who used to live there. Next is prominence. Does the story involve a well-known public figure or celebrity? News always seems more interesting when it happens to famous people. Novelty is another news value. Is the story about something new, odd, or surprising? New York Sun editor Charles Dana said when a dog bites a man, that is not news. But when a man bites a dog, now that's news. The 6th news value is conflict. Is the story about a power struggle, a political battle, a sports rivalry? Dramatic confrontations make for good news. Finally, we have emotions. The news value is commonly found in type of feature stories called the human interest story, designed to make you feel happy, sad, angry, or some other emotion. Now, the news values shown here are in a Venn diagram because they often work together. Now, remember the story of the candy store closing from a few minutes ago? It might not have much impact, but what if the local store was started by an immigrant 100 years ago, was handed down from generation to generation as a family-run business, and will be forced to close next week on its 100th anniversary, now that a giant candy corporation has opened a mega store right across the street? That story has immediacy because it's happening now, proximity because it's happening here in our town, novelty because the story is closing on its 100th anniversary, and plenty of conflict with the giant corporation forcing out the family business. The emotional appeal of the story is also pretty high.